Well, welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading. First thing I want to say is happy 4th of July, because we're filming on the 4th. Of course, you won't see it till the 8th. So anyway, it's just the way it is. Well, going to be another video on our fine Senix 4-cycle chainsaw here, 49cc. I'm going to give you a complete overview on it. I'm going to talk about its good features, its bad features, and its stupid features. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see if it cuts the mustard or if it's just a turd. Yeah. Well, after we talk about the features, we're going to go out and do some timed cuts. So we'll be having a contest between our fine Senix here and for my vintage little chainsaws that are all less than 49cc. Well, first we're going to talk about the good features. It's got nice ergonomics. Layout's really good. And everything's out in the open. Got your oil fill. Here's your fill for the chain. Here's your fuel fill. Spark plug's right out in the open. It's got a nice shape to the handle on it. Like the kill buttons, just to push it to go off. Like if you got a Stihl or something, you have to have a lever to move it, but this looks really slick. And you got your purge valve right here, your choke, easy access. You snap that out and take off to get to the air cleaner. And it starts easy most of the time. Easy to maintain. And one thing that works really good on this thing is the chain oiler. It works too good. And the other thing is it actually cuts pretty good, a lot better than I expected. But the reason for that is the chain. It's an Oregon chain. It's a high-tech design, even though it's 3/8 low profile. It actually cuts quite well. And I have other 3/8 low pro Oregon chains on a few other saws, and this definitely is a lot better than the old ones. Okay, well, we're going to talk about the bad features next. First one is the chain brake handle here, too close. And when your hand is, if you're cutting level, it's fine, but if you're cutting up, it's right up against it, and it's not very good. The other one, it has a tendency to occasionally flood when you're starting it. The next bad feature is a spark plug. It's a really weird size. I had a hard time finding it, because in the parts manual all it shows is a number for the cheesy Chinese spark plug. So I finally figured it out and got an NGK for it. The other thing is that the gas cap on it. It was nice out in the open here, but when you take the thing off, it has this gasket on here, and it's only, the saw only has maybe 3 hours on, and this thing is getting rotten and getting ready to split because it's allergic to gasoline. Well, another bad feature, and it's kind of concerning, is that this thing is burning oil. You can see the crap here from it. Now it might be that the oil that they send with this thing doesn't have any lubricating values in it to help seat the rings and stuff. I mean, antique cars, I used to use non-detergent 30 weight in an engine rebuild because it didn't lubricate that good and made the rings seat. But I'm going to be putting in my heavy duty 30 weight oil with 10% STP in it here shortly to see if it alleviates the problem. The other thing is that it's not very efficient. It's a gas hog. It goes through the gas pretty quick. Even though it doesn't rev up very high. They say 9,000, but I doubt it. Doesn't sound like it to me, but I'll get a tack at some point and find out for sure. And other thing, it failed within 2.5 hours of use is the spark plug. And again, it's a Chinese junker. Any piece of equipment I work on for other people has a Chinese plug-in. That's the first thing to get thrown out. And speaking about spark plug stuff, the threaded hole where it goes into the head, or the block here, it's not straight. The threads at the bottom are wider than they are at the top, and when I pulled the plug out, carbon was starting to build up around the threads at the bottom of the plug, so not very good machine work. And the other thing, in the former videos I've done on it, doesn't sound like it's very loud, but we cut the sound down on it because actually it has a fairly loud exhaust, and on top of that it has a lot of mechanical noise coming from the valve train. So anyway, you can see they get their drawbacks. So we'll move on to the stupid. Okay, well, on the stupid, there's no carburetor kit available for it. You have to buy a new carburetor. And I looked them up, and they're anywhere from about $30 to $100 depending on where they're coming from. And on a saw like this, it doesn't cost that much. It's pretty dumb. Like on my Poland Wild thing, it has a 2-barrel carburetor on it. And there again, you couldn't buy kits for it, but I bought a brand new Chinese replica crap carburetor for it. It was only $18 with tax and shipping. So it's a rip-off. So and then the other thing is that there's no way to adjust the carburetor on this without a special tool, and I finally found one. I had to buy a whole set to get the one that fits this because it doesn't fit any other piece of equipment that I've worked on. And in the manual, there's no tuning specs on it to adjust the carburetor or anything else. And since it's a 4-cycle engine, it has valves in it, and you have to have clearance between the rocker arm and the valves, so the valve isn't held open when it's hot. Well, I don't have any specifications on that at all, so I'm going to have to pull the valve cover off and measure the distance and mark it down so I have a starting point. Another stupid idea is this cover here. Looks just like a regular cover. But the problem is that since the chain oiler works excessively, it builds up an excessive amount of oily sawdust, and this has to be taken off and cleaned quite often. So that's kind of an annoying feature. On the fuel oil caps and whatnot, there's a little teeny labyrinth in behind here. And you can't get in with a brush or anything. You need compressed air, which is, if you're out in the woods somewhere, that's not a good deal because the sawdust builds up there and it drops into the tanks for the oil, gas, and fuel. So you have to take a can of compressed air or something and blow it out. And then the last one here is this really stupid starting handle. It's just a little cheap hollow piece of plastic. It doesn't fit your hand very well. And the thing is that when I was cutting out in the thorns and that bush and tree there that had the stickers in it, I had on gloves and I couldn't hardly get my hand to fit on here. And if you have a glove and stuff, it slips out of your hand really easy because, like I say, this thing occasionally will get flooded real easily when you're starting it. And it has tremendous compression and it just pulls it right out of your hand. So the thing is with this, you know, plastic over time just gets brittle and disintegrates, so I'm going to put on a better handle at some point. So anyway, there you got good, bad, and stupid. So the next thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be out doing some cuts and do some time cuts and have a little contest. Well, we're out here to do some time cuts. So we got the Senix we're going to run first. And we've got 4 vintage saws, all below the 49cc that this one is, and see how they do. So I'll be right back after I get the saw warmed up. Okay, well, our Next saw is going to be our smallest saw, 2 cubic inch, or 32.8 cc. So I'll get it started and warmed up and be right back. Well, the next saw, our Homelite Super EZ. It's about a 40 cc saw. So we'll be back when it's running. Well, the next saw is going to be our Stihl 025. We'll be back when we're cutting. Well, the next saw here is our Stihl 031. It's 48 cc. So, for my overall view of this fine piece of equipment, would I recommend it? Maybe, maybe not. But what's it really good for? Number one, entertainment, and the fact that you can brag to all your buddies that, hey, I got a 4-stroke chainsaw and I bet you don't. And the other one is, you've got to read the manual, and it says for intermittent use only.